Hi, Preston Sandlin here with Home Inspection Carolina, and today I wanted to talk to you about WDIRs or WDOs, depending on where you live, wood destroying insect reports. So what's that all about? Who requires it, and why? And what's the deal with that? And so let's start off with the easier one, and what does it report on, that sort of thing. The easy one is who requires it. It is usually the mortgage companies that want a WDIR. This is WDIR in North Carolina. It's WDO in many states. It's CL100 in South Carolina. And the reason they require it is because they want to cover their asset. Insert joke here. You see, when they loan money, they send an appraiser out and make sure it's worth the money they loan. Also, if it's hit by lightning, it burns, there's a flood, a tsunami. I don't think we have those here. But anyway, it's covered, right? It's covered. And they will recover their money that's out on that asset should they have to foreclose on it. Well, here's the rub. Termite damage is usually not covered by home insurance. Homeowner's insurance. So that's why they are going to require a wood destroying insect report, or WDO, whatever your state calls it. Now, when would you not need it usually? I would recommend it always, but if you're buying cash, lender's not going to require it. There's no law for it, actually, but there is a law that the person who performs it has to be licensed, and there is a standard form. Not just everybody can do a WDO or WDIR. They have to be a licensed pest control operator. So what does it look for? Well, number one, first and foremost, is termites. Termites are probably 90-95% of the wood destroyed insect problem. When I took the test, 30 years ago, it was $2 billion worth of damage a year, so it's a lot more than that now. So termites, looking for termites. If you find termites, it's active, it's got to be treated. If you find signs of termites, would be wings, the swarmers, mud tubes, lots of different things. Damage, if there's no signs of treatment, which would be drill marks, trenching, bait stations, then it's considered active. Again, if they're live, obviously. If there's evidence and no signs of treatment, it's considered active. I could do a whole video, and I will do a video on signs of treatment. Now, what else is on the wood destroying insect report? Well, there's other wood destroying insects. You have, the next one would probably be powder post beetles. There's several different types, lictid, bostrictid, all different types. But basically, they make the little holes. Usually you would see this in a crawl space, and sometimes you'll see it in old furniture, that sort of thing. Little bitty, almost look like shotgun pellets. That is, and there'll be frass coming out of it. It's basically the larva, and when it turns into it eats in there, and then it comes out as a beetle, bores out. Kind of the same thing there with termites. You're looking for frass. You look inside the little holes and see if it's like fresh cut wood to see if it's active. So you have powder post beetles. You also have carpenter ants, carpenter bees. Carpenter ants have really big heads with mandibles that chew up the wood. They don't really eat it. They just shell it out for a nest. I have a saying, show me carpenter ants and I'll show you moisture damaged wood. They usually get in wood that has moisture damage already. Around, it could be anywhere around doors, windows, gutters, a lot of times, that sort of thing. But usually there's moisture damage already there. Carpenter bees, they make a little 3/8 hole, drill bit hole almost, and they like to go up underneath the eave, into the rake board or the deck. That sort of thing. They'll go in and then they'll go 12 to 18 inches with the grain of the wood. Usually not a structural thing, but it can. I've seen some that are pretty intense. And old house borers, sort of like larvae, they make these oval holes. Again, as far as structural damage goes, termites by far are the biggest problem, and then probably behind them will be powder post beetles and all the other ones. They do damage. Beavis and butthead, but not nearly the structural significance that termites do. So what else is on a wood destroying insect report that may cause problems? Well, conducive conditions for wood destroying insects, which would be high moisture in the crawl space above 20%. They have a moisture meter they check all throughout the crawl space. That would be a conducive condition. Also, if you have like siding supposed to be 6 inches off the ground, if you have mulch or something right over the siding, that's also a conducive condition. Also, wood debris in the crawl space or cellulose material in the crawl space or underneath the deck, which is also considered part of the crawl space. Firewood, any wood from construction that's laying on the ground. Also, insulation, if it's laying on the ground, that paper is cellulose material. All conducive conditions. The next thing would be areas that are inaccessible. These were areas that they could not inspect, and ideally before you buy the house you would like them to make it accessible. This could be a garage that is completely filled with stored items and you just can't get to the walls where you would check for mud tubes and stuff. Also a crawl space that's too low. You still see a few of those. It's kind of rare. Old farmhouse or something. Another one, this one's fairly common, is a porch that's a hollow porch, but there's no access to it. So you don't know. You'd have to knock out some blocks or something to get in there. And there's other inaccessible areas, but usually it has to do with stored items and things that are too low. So let's recap. Who requires the WDIO, WDIR? It is usually the mortgage or the lending institution. They want to cover their asset. Again, insert joke here. What does it report on? Wood destroying insects. Termites, powder post beetles, carpenter ants, carpenter bees, old house borers, maybe one or two others that I'm forgetting, but I've got the major players there. What else does it report on? Would be conducive conditions, which need to be corrected so that you don't get wood destroying insects, and inaccessible areas, which when the consumer, the real estate agent reads the report, they need to look at that and say, hey, can we go back and can you move all that stuff so we can go back and look at it, because we don't have a complete report because they couldn't get in that area. But anyway, this has been Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina. We do home inspections and termite inspections in the Charlotte, North Carolina area and the surrounding area, the Asheville and the surrounding area, and Asheville, North Carolina, and also Raleigh, North Carolina and the surrounding areas. Thank you for watching. If you haven't, please hit subscribe. I'm not sure where it's going to be. Yeah, I'll put some stuff in the notes for this, and also check out our website, homeinspectioncarolina.com, and askthecharlotteinspector.com. Lots of useful information there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you.